My name's Claire, and this video is going to be talking about consent. So first of all, what is consent, right? Consent is when we ask for permission to do something and we wait for the answer. That last piece is really important to be teaching kids. Consent is given when we get an enthusiastic yes in response. So the next part is, when should I start teaching kids about consent? When is too early? The answer is that it's never too early. It is a skill that's going to build over time as they grow older and get bigger and are in different social situations. Avoid teaching consent in a one and done talk. It's going to be the most effective when we can build on those layers of learning. So there are 3 key messages that you want to be focusing on. Those 3 messages are bodily autonomy, body literacy, and consent culture. To break it down, bodily autonomy is when you are telling kids and teaching them that they have the right to choose what happens to their body. But similarly, we also want to be teaching kids that it's their responsibility to respect what other people choose about their body, including who touches them. The biggest thing about consent is that we're surrounding kids with consent culture everywhere that they are, right? So even when you're asking your own child for a hug maybe, and they say no, how can you respond to that without making them feel sad or guilty or any other negative feelings that could be associated with saying no, and you respect it? So responding positively, like, oh, okay, can I have a fist bump instead, right? So offering some other alternatives. So just as I was saying that consent can't be a one and done conversation to be the most effective, we really want to emphasize that we are building skills over time. So teaching about consent can feel complicated. Keep it simple at first. As your child gets bigger, it will get easier. However, there are going to be some more complexities that you want to address as your kids get older, some more nuances, some more complicated social situations that you want to be bringing up with them so that they have the skills to respond and that they feel comfortable in their own bodies and that they're respecting other people's bodies just the same. So remember, the whole goal is that we are raising healthy adults. Remember that the goal is for kids to become adults with good consent skills. And this starts really young. That means that we need to keep messages consistent and explain consequences when we do things without consent. So we've made a few extra tips and broken them up by different developmental stages. So for younger kids, we really want to focus on making learning about consent fun and doing it through different models, right? So whatever it is that your kid learns best from, you're trying that out, whether it be songs or games or storybooks, including all of the role modeling that you are providing to them. We also want to prioritize physical boundaries and helping kids understand that everyone has different boundaries. And we need to respect those boundaries, regardless of if they're different from ours. Another key component for younger kids, helping them manage those feelings. So when they're sad or angry, upset in various different ways, how are you helping them cope with being told no? So then as kids get older, it gets a little bit more complicated and we can start building in some of these other skills, right? So we want to be teaching kids to seek mutual joy, mutual enthusiasm, and being able to really read that body language and how someone else might be feeling in the moment. A key component is also understanding that someone can change their mind. Sometimes people change their minds and it's gradual. Sometimes it's all of a sudden. But regardless of how it develops, it is their responsibility to respect that person's choice. Another component is discussing consent in romantic relationships, of course. I know this is where we typically think about where consent applies the most in sexual, physical relationships, but it also applies to close friendships. So teaching kids to state their boundaries when they feel uncomfortable with something with their friends is really important. So some other things as kids get older and they become young adults, we want to be talking about peer pressure and power. So how does the power dynamic, or when your peers and your friends are around, influence your decision? Are you being pressured to say yes when you really don't want to? Or are you looking out for your friends when they look like they're feeling pressured to say yes when they don't want to? So when peers and people with different levels of power are around them, how does this influence someone's feelings and how does it influence their boundaries? So having conversations like that is really important as kids get older, especially in teenagers.